Testing, testing. Hi there, Rebels. No one's here yet, but I like to pretend there is. So let's see if everything's working. I think it is. Technically, I mean, because sometimes things go wonky and you kind of, you're live streaming and it's wonky and you don't know what's wonky and it's really embarrassing. So let's see. Now this time I put a chat in so that you can chat in the chat box next to the video, and that's awesome. I think I can start now because it's 3 p.m. my time, Bulgarian time, and 1 p.m. universal time. So, yeah, I'm just gonna start. Hi there, Rebels. My name is Violeta Nitkova, and I created the Creative Rebel Academy for those of us who are tired of fitting in and are ready to step into the magic of standing out. Are you one of us? So, I mean, today I just wanted to share some of my favorite nonfiction books for Creative Rebels because I have so many. I basically spent all of my money on books. And because I'm a traditionalist, and I mean, do you remember print books? Yeah, I have, a Kindle, and I buy ebooks, I'm modern. But don't you miss the smell of the books and how you can put on notes and annotate stuff, and you just don't do it in fiction books because that's just bastardizing the books. And yeah, so I'm just gonna show you some print books today because obviously I have them. You don't see the pile, but it's like this big. So what is a rebel book? What is a book for creative rebels? It's a book that is unconventional in one way or another. I'm not talking about a format, I'm not talking about, it's weird looking or it's full of picture books or I don't know, pictures. No, I mean, it goes against the grain in some sort. And if you came to, see some unusual books that nobody knows about, sorry, but half of these books are mainstream. And this is because, I believe that humanity is awakening to this new wave of authentic, writers, authors who just want to be raw and real, and they don't care about, what are people gonna like? They just write what they believe, and it's sort of unusual, but eventually the people catch up to you. The people catch up to your thinking. It's kind of like the collective unconscious that I really love the idea about, where 100 monkeys or 10,000 monkeys, I forget, but basically a lot of monkeys started doing something, and the monkeys on the next island that have no contact with those monkeys start doing the same thing. And that's like magic, right? And I believe that in some ways, most of us just do the same. We kind of awaken to a new reality, step by step by step, and there's a tipping point and sub point, and just everyone loves it, right? So anywho, I'll show you some rebel books today. No more blabbing, and I would love it for like if you shared some of your favorite books that go against the grain in some way in the comments below. Don't leave them on YouTube because we don't live on YouTube, okay? We live on the Rebel blog. We live on the Rebel blog. So let's get started. Actually, I don't mean it to like keep them in order. I would rather just tell you about all of them in no particular order, okay? So this one, Steal Like an Artist. Oh my God. So the author, Austin Kleon, says, think about the book you'd like to read and then see if it exists. If it doesn't, write it. And he definitely did that. With this thing, first of all, it's square. It's so handy. You can take it everywhere. And inside, you can see a lot of, drawings and, it's not just writing. It's all kinds of drawings. And it's full of really, really not deep thoughts, but like things that you don't really think about. For example, he does a lot of research into what creativity was like for, people who lived like 100 years ago and 200 years ago. And he talks about things like the idea closet, or what kind of closet was it? I forget. But I read this a long time ago, sorry, but it's so good that I promise you're gonna fall in love with it. It's for creatives specifically, and it's going to just awaken your mind to a new way of thinking, because obviously Steal Like an Artist is about how nothing is original, everything is borrowed from the people before, and there's no shame in it. It's not plagiarism. It's remixing and creating new connections. And basically, there's nothing new. Someone has done it before. So sorry, you're not original. You can watch Austin Kleon's TED Talk on the subject. It's really good. Actually, I'm not sure if it's a TED Talk. Maybe it's TEDx. But if you Google Austin Kleon, Steal Like an Artist talk, you're going to find it. It's really good. You should watch it. So next book. It's basically similar, but it's from the same author, Show Your Work. I'm not going to talk about this because it's basically together with Steal Like an Artist. Those are really good books for creative rebels. Just buy them and yeah. The next one, Unmistakable. Unmistakable. Do you want to be unmistakable? I love the idea of unmistakable. Okay, there's this podcast, The Unmistakable Creative, where the author is basically has interviewed more than 500 people who have been just so different from, the mainstream, have gone against the mainstream. And most of them are creative rebels. Like Seth Godin, El Luna, Tim Ferriss. Who else was it? Oh gosh, I forget. It just said here, Danielle Laporte, Simon Sinek, and so on and so forth. I've listened to half of these people. They're amazing. So anyway, this book came out because I think there was a need for it. So basically, this is the story of the author who was on the corporate ladder, and one day he just realized he didn't want to be, and he decided to start surfing. Now, that is not a smart business decision, as he says, but it awakened him. It awakened his entire spirit to this new notion that your life is meant to be lived, and it inspired him to start interviewing those people, and his entire brand grew so much in a few years, and now it's just this huge powerhouse of creative rebellion. So check it out, check out the book, and yeah, pretty rebellious. Okay. The Happiness of Pursuit. I'm so excited about this. Okay, so my friend Meg Kisak told me about this book. And she said, this is so rebellious. You should read it. And she was right. This is basically, it's written by Chris Guillebeau, who is one of the biggest creative rebels out there. He wrote the $100 Startup. He traveled the world, like the entire world. I think he didn't miss any countries. How is that possible? There are more than like 200, I don't know how many. No, actually, that's in Europe. Oh, So bad in geography, sorry. Anywho, so basically, this book is a collection of stories of people who have accepted their personal quests. Um, a quest, what is a quest? A quest is when you are drawn to do something that will wake you up. And it's so crazy that you're like, oh, I don't know about this. But then you do it, and your life, you can see your life in this whole new light, you know? And it's so inspiring to see those quests come to life. So one quest would be to travel the world, like Chris did. Another quest would be to cycle across all of the states in the United States. And some quests are popular, like Wild by Cheryl Strayed, and Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Those are mainstream quests. Basically, they felt a draw to complete these quests and turn their life around. I was particularly inspired by one of the quests, which is not so huge, but it's pretty cool. Someone basically decided to stay silent for 7 years. How do you not say a word in 7 years? I would go crazy. But for them, it made sense, and it just really, really works out for them. So anyway, The Happiness of Pursuit. Love this book. Just read it. Another book for creative rebels, and this is basically maybe number one. The number one book for creative rebels is Lunes, The Crossroads of Should and Must. This was a Medium article in, I don't know, 2 years ago. Since then, it's been, turned into a book, a series of speeches around the world. Luna is now famous, but it's so beautiful. Basically, in your life, you come to this point where on the left there's should, all of the shoulds. I should get married, I should have a career, I should do this next, I should do what my parents tell me, I should have these kind of friends, I should blah blah. Should. Other side is must, and must is something that you just must do if you want to survive. If you're creative, you just feel this internal need to do your thing. So basically, for me, if I stopped writing, I would die. And this is not an exaggeration. So her must was, after years of working with startups, having a prestigious design job, she just felt like her life was, reached a fork where there was, I should, continue my career, my design career. And on the other side, it was, I should paint. And it's a whole story. It's fascinating. You should read it on Medium or, buy the book. But basically, she chose must. And I admire her for it. And I chose must for myself when I started my creative business. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to do for yourself, to drop all of the shoulds and do the risky must, because there are no guarantees there. Okay, so this book is a treasure. Okay, the next one is not so popular. It's not one of the big titles, but it was one of my favorite books ever, because so basically it's called My Creative Side Business by Monica Konokova. She writes these amazing collections of interviews and just stories of people who are creative and are following their own path. So this particular book was about how you can create multiple income streams by being creative. So So what can you do to make more money? What can you do to attract more people to your, to your passion, to what you do, to your business? There were so many cool ideas and so many unconventional ideas, like having an Airbnb house, or doing a 100-day project or whatever, just so that you can keep doing your thing but also make money, because obviously that's what business is for. And I loved the spirit of these creatives who just went for what they loved, and they were also smart about it. They didn't just dream, but they acted in a smart way that was sustainable for them. So if you're looking for a sustainable ideas for your business, it's not going to happen overnight, but if you're looking for those ideas, you can read this book. Okay, Girlboss. Oh my God. You have heard about it probably. Sofia Amoruso was or whatever head of Nasty Gal, and she's insane. She used to live off of dumpster diving, maybe something like that. But anywho, most people who talk about this book say, I thought I would not like this book, but you know what? When I read it, I loved it. And I felt honestly the same way, because it's about how, from a place of, eating off of dumpsters and not knowing what to do with her life or whatever, she just started something. Whatever. She had a passion for vintage clothing, so she just started something online. She built it. She sacrificed for it. She didn't care. She just grew and grew and grew. And everything she says in this book is so quotable. It's so authentic and raw, and you just wanna quote it all the time. It's like, for example, one of the quotes is, money looks better in your bank than your feet, because of shoes and blah blah. So hashtag Girlboss is mostly for the girls, but if you're a guy and if you want to read about this crazy chick who started this $1 million company, just go ahead and do it. Who might stop you? The next book, Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. Elizabeth Gilbert is my guru, spirit animal, Yoda, favorite person ever. And every time she speaks, she just like magic spills out of her mouth, right? Listen to her speak, because maybe you've heard of her because of Eat, Pray, Love, right? Her memoir. But listen to her speak about creativity. Those are the talks that you need to listen to and watch, obviously. So in Big Magic, she kind of illustrates concepts and concepts like creativity and ideas as real living beings, which is so weird to think about, but then it makes sense. For example, she says that ideas are living beings that hop to head. So maybe I have an idea, and then next month you're gonna have the other idea, the same idea, if I didn't use it. So you have to use your ideas, you have to act on them, because otherwise someone else is gonna grab it and act on it. And that is so amazing. And this Big Magic is creativity, which lives and breathes and is so fantastic, really. Everything she talks about is okay. I'm blabbing now. See, this is what happens when I love something so much. I want to talk about it for hours, but maybe it's not a good idea. So Big Magic by Liz Gilbert is one of my all-time favorite books. Okay. Essentialism, another famous book. Sorry, but basically this got famous. This got really popular in the creative online business circles, in creative rebel circles in 2016. So basically it's this idea of seeing determining what is essential in your life and what is not essential, and then only keeping the essential and just discarding the inessential. And this is a very, very simple idea, but the author explained it so much better than I just did. So it's a really good idea to get it if you're feeling overwhelmed, rushed all the time, like you're saying yes to everything. Don't do that. No matter what any book says, don't say yes to anything, everything. Sometimes you just have to say no to some things to find more amazing things to say yes to, right? We can't do everything, so basically you really, really need to focus on the essential. And by the way, this book was recommended to me by Jen Carrington, whose opinion I admire and respect, or whatever. Refuse to choose. Okay, I just got goosebumps because this next book. Okay, full confession, I have not finished reading this, so. But I love the idea of it, and I am a multi-passionate. Maybe you are too. So this is a book for multi-passionate people, and this is why I'm recommending it, because we need more of these books in the world. I mean, I haven't found enough of these, so I guess when my friend Meg, again, recommended this to me, I just jumped on the opportunity to buy it. So Refuse to Choose by Barbara Sher. Basically, when you're multi-passionate, it's really hard for you to be productive, and at some point you just basically have a personality crisis because everything is so exciting, nothing sticks, and you can't do everything at once, but you want to so bad. And so I feel that there is this disconnect between what we want and what we need to do to be happy, right? Because sometimes it's the same thing, but most of the time for us, it's not the same thing. And actually, I have a system for this, the Brand Galaxy system. I should link to it below, shouldn't I? So basically, the Brand Galaxy system is my system for multi-passionates who are tired of starting project after project after project, and always building their audience from scratch and never finishing anything, and just not having something to be proud of and build upon, but just something that lasts for a while. And after I did that for years, I got so tired. I almost gave up on my creative dreams. But luckily, I finally figured out what works for me. And obviously, this may not work for you, but it's actually designed to work for anyone, because it kind of starts from you and what you like. So, it should work for you. I'm going to link below. My Brand Galaxy is really useful. And I'm actually coaching again. Ooh, so weird, because I did a bit of coaching. I did a lot of consulting before, and I did a bit of coaching, and it was great. But then I started, working on the Creative Rebel Academy, and I got busy, and I couldn't accommodate coaching anymore. But I think that I have this small window of time, and I felt like I really needed to connect to more people and help them realize their creative dreams, and especially for multi-passionates, because we need the help, and not enough people are realizing that. So I'm just jumping in and saying, if you're a multi-passionate, I'm going to link to that also. A lot of links. Okay, so Refuse to Choose is full of, helpful strategies for multi-passionates, like the idea book and idea journal or something. And then there's some, archetypes, what kind are you, and stuff like that. But for me, the strategies were more important than the archetypes, personally. But maybe you'll like the other one better. Okay, this is amazing. I feel like this should be on the bestseller list, but it's not. Zen Pencils. It's this guy who one day decided, I love these two things and I really want to do them both. And he combined them. And this is one of my most favorite thing to watch, for someone to combine two of their passions that don't obviously go together, but they have the potential. So this is the result. He loves, drawing cartoons, and he loves inspirational quotes. And this is the result. Zen Pencils Volume 1. Basically, it's cartoon quotes from inspirational folks. So all of the inspirational quotes that you love, but longer, like the whole thing, maybe just a whole paragraph of it, from the people you admire, from the people who lived long time ago but were so wise, and all of these things cartoonized. So I'm just gonna show you. Okay, look at this, so beautiful. I mean, how beautiful is this? Oh my God, I love it so much. And honest to God, or whatever the English phrase is, I cried. I cried so many times. I didn't just cry at the end of the book. I cried after every single, story, because this has at least, I don't know how many stories, but there's a lot, maybe 20 or 50, I don't know. After each story, I cried. And I feel that the cartoons amplified the strength of the quotes, because it's one thing to read something and it's quite another to see it, I guess, I mean, it's kind of like animation, but you're just going through it yourself instead of some kind of software making it for you. Anywho, this is one of my most favorite books of all time. And when I feel down, I would open a story and go through it, and I would just start crying, because that's the power of inspirational quotes that are illustrated or cartoonized or animated or whatever. Seriously, trust me, you're gonna love it. And okay, I have a couple more minutes. I'm gonna tell you about two people whose books / journals I always love. And then I'm gonna show you behind the scenes at the Creative Rebel database, because there I collect all of the Rebel resources of the internet. And this one particular collection is of Rebel books. And this is the topic of today, so I wanted to show you. But before that, two people. Seth Godin, anything he writes, says, does, he's the Rebel. So follow him, read his books, super cool, unconventional stuff, just do it. And then Carrie Smith. Carrie Smith is a guerrilla artist, and that is very cool, one. And two, all of her journals are very unusual. Like, one of her journals is wreck this journal, and you basically destroy this journal in many, many different ways. But that's not the one I love. I love the Wonder Society. I love, what was the other one I loved? Yeah, one of, pressure. Pressure. Okay, never mind. I just love how she thinks, because she's a creator in the real world. She's not, she has this style that is creating in the real world instead of, on the computer or on paper or whatever. She just kind of goes out there. She draws inspiration from the world and she brings it back to her journals. And that's what I like. That's what I like. Okay. So those are the two, those are the 10 Rebel books. Those are the top my top 10 nonfiction books for creative rebels. And the two people who I always love. And finally, let me just show you, and this time I am going to do screen share properly, because last time it was so embarrassing. Share your screen. So ooh, this time it worked. Yes. I wonder if someone said hi in the chat box. Not yet. That's okay. You can say it later, or if nobody does, I'm just gonna remove it. No biggie. So basically, the Creative Rebel Academy has just opened for, season 1, and it's basically, it has, sorry, I don't mean to bitch you right now, but I feel like you need a little bit of context to understand what I'm showing you. So basically, season 1 is opening right now, and it has like these 5 parts: the School of Rebels, where you learn from rebels; the Rebel community, where you support each other; the database, which I'm going to show you; the library; and the Rebel Reset, which is video exercises. So the Creative Rebel database is like this place where I collect all of the Rebel resources from all over the internet. So think, people, blogs, podcasts, books, tools, just anything that is great for creative rebels. And I wanted to show you specifically the books collection because it's so amazing. It's not quite done yet, but you can see here, those are a lot of books. And all of those books are in the database. Whew. So I'm so excited to be starting this adventure with you. I hope you check it out. I'm trying to go back to stop. Okay. Yes. Whew. Yeah, obviously I'm not still, I'm I'm not yet used to these live videos, but hopefully I'm getting better. Finally, I just wanted to thank you for watching this. Show me your books, in the comments below or in the chat box. Tell me which ones you also love from the ones that I shared. And also don't forget to grab this free thing that I did just for you. Don't forget to grab it because it's so good that, oh my God, I really want to tell you about it. I want to tell you about it because it basically negates all of the bullshit of the internet. It's free. It's yours. I don't want anything in return except for your email, and I only, email useful stuff, so you have nothing to lose. It's the Rebellify Your Brand workbook, playbook, whatever. I honestly am in love with this thing. How is it possible? I always hate what I create. Well, not really, but you know what I mean? Like sometimes you create something and you're like, oh, it could have been better. But this could not have been better because I poured my heart into it. It's full of rebellious questions. And if you ever feel like you're disconnected from your work or from your brand or from your business and it's just not you, I want you to be able to go back to Rebel basics. I really want you to, because I constantly do. It's a lifelong struggle because all the bullshit of the internet is just accosting you all the time. And I want you to be happy, and I want you to lead a creative and rebellious life. And basically, yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you for watching. Give me your, favorite books or whatever. I'm really bad at ending these, so I'm just gonna think of something to say at the end, like Rebel on. No. Rebel on. Okay, thank you for watching. Tell me about your favorite books and Rebel on. Oh, and the next video is going to be on Monday, February 27 or something. come over on the Rebel blog and I'll see you there. Okay, Rebel on.